Okay? Bodega, part 11.
Fuck.
Baru, you better come up here, said Bodega, clicking the intercom off. He sat stiffly in his seat on the bridge of the Disco Volante, drumming his fingers on the chrome tabletop at the captain's station. A door hissed open and Varu stooped to enter, his metallic hands clasping the door jamb. Are we nearly there? Asked the droid. Yep, said Bodega, indicating the viewport. There it is, Tartania. A vast tartan sphere filled the screen, its ice caps extending almost to the equator of the world, but the bold tartan colors of the continent still glared through with menace. Madre de Dios, whispered Varu. Its head grew slightly paler, and Bodega thought he noticed a slight tremor in one of its legs. Okay, Pard, let's suit up. If we want to get where we're going in one piece, we better look the part. A few hours later, Bodega and Varu exited the Disco Volante and strolled down the ramp into the spaceport. The bitter wind tore into them and lashing rain stung their faces, but the overwhelming stench of deep-fried food was the real acclimatizer. My lord, said Bodega, retching. Stay strong, said Varu, clasping Bodega's upper forearm.
What about the voice chip, remember?
No, you said you wanted him back the other way, so
I know
put
I
him back
said
the other
I
way.
wanted him back, but there's no story to explain why he's back.
You don't need it. You don't need it.
Bodega just turned it off. He preferred the old one, all right? It's
Okay,
just an
good enough.
interstitial. Okay.
I like how Simpson's like leaning back in like a dad armchair.
Hey, shut up a minute.
This is
Wait.
how I like to enjoy my bodega.
Wait, you
Jeez.
fucked up. You forgot to send his voice chip back. All right, can we
Oh
continue?
my god, do you know how he's getting Larry? He's getting like an untitled fanboy, isn't he?
Isn't he
He's like,
just?
this is like someone in the cinema who's like, oh, no, that's not how he stands in the Star Wars.
Exactly. All right, so, stay strong, said Varu, clasping Bodega's forearm. Varu's voice chip unit had been replaced by Bodega some weeks before. I'll add that in.
Okay,
Bodega
good.
nodded and puffed out his chest, but the biting cold made him feel tiny and helpless, and he noted that however hard he tried, he shrank and cowered in the face of the brutal climate. What didn't help was that he was wearing nothing more than a t-shirt and a pair of jeans, but a coat was a death sentence on Tartania, and with these winds, a hat was impossible. Bodega turned to one of the station hands milling about, drinking a can of spatial brew. Ori, he said, the most friendly and formal greeting possible on this world. Ori, pal, what's going on? Said the man. Looking for a friend of mine. Name of Big Rab, said Bodega. I will fucking Hades after someone. I didn't care about a big rab. Now get to fuck, said the man. His ginger hair and beard frozen solid with ice. Bodega realized he had no idea where Big Rabby was, and that nobody on Tartania would ever help. Their culture forbade friendliness of any kind. After meandering around the major cities of Glasgow and then Edinburgh for a few days, Bodega and Varu were exhausted. They'd been in countless fights and had the injuries to show for it. Varu's left arm hung loosely at his side after a pack of wild Neds had cornered him and Bodega and beaten them senseless. The fighting skills of the Tartanians were undisputably the best in the galaxy. But when combined with their daily ration of 15 cans of spatial brew, they also became irascible. Every cab driver, shop worker, and elderly person they'd spoken to had responded with violence, and the two interlopers were so cold they could barely think. Bodega, it's hopeless, said Varu. There's one place we haven't tried yet, Pard, said Bodega wearily. No, please, Varu begs you, said Varu, looking as anxious as a faceless droid could. We're going to the meanest, roughest place in the sector. We're going Dune the pub, said Bodega, squinting up and taking one last look at the gold star of Titania, which itself almost seemed to be scowling at them. The pub, the only one left in Tartania thanks to the world's shattered economy and tendency towards violence. All the others had been burnt to the ground or shut down thanks to the death at 23 due to heart disease of all but a handful of Tartanians, making them unsustainable as businesses. But one had persisted, run by the fearsome Mad Donald. So terrifying a combatant was he that even the people of Tartania didn't mess with Mad Donald. The pub was the one place a man like Big Rab could hide out indefinitely from any lawman or assassin. Bodega was neither, but he was something worse in the eyes of the Tartanians, a southerner. There was no south in Tartania. The poles of the planet were aligned in such a way that only north existed. Taking a cab into the center of Glasgow, Bodega and Varu approached the pub with intense trepidation. Be ready to run, hissed Bodega, shivering so badly he felt he might dislocate something. The door to the pub was almost off its hinges, and every window was boarded up. As they entered, the entire place went as quiet as death. Seated on small stools were the biggest, ugliest, meanest collection of pure scum imaginable. No inch of flesh went untattooed. No face held a morsel of kindness. Blood stained the carpet, and teeth were strewn about like party favors. Bodega steeled himself and approached the bar, slapping down his money and making sure to use coins instead of fancy banknotes, which would be seen as an attempt to show off wealth. Ori, 2 spatial brews, pal, said Bodega. Behind the bar was Mad Don himself. He stared into Bodega's soul for what felt like weeks, but was in fact just 15 minutes. Bodega knew not to move, not to break into a sweat or blink. He must maintain eye contact with Mad Don and show no fear. Mad Don finally moved, slowly pouring the drinks and taking the money, baring his teeth as he did so. Bodega was now stuck. If he stayed at the bar, there was every chance one of the other patrons would approach and order a drink of their own. And if a single molecule of that drink was spilled, Bodega and Varu would be torn limb from limb. It was too risky to stay where they were, but turning back around and facing the stares of the Tartanian braves assembled here was a bridge too far. Yet they had to find a seat. Too late. Yous 2 bastards of the bar, said a voice behind them. Hold on a minute, I can use. Bodega's blood ran cold. Mustering every bit of strength he had left, he turned towards the speaker. All right, said Bodega, still the only Tartanian he knew. Dry your eyes, you big fanny, you look like you're gonna piss yourself, said the voice, still emanating from some darkened corner near the back of the pub. A figure approached Bodega, a man so large and heavily bearded, so ginger, that Bodega at first mistook him for a hairy boulder rolling their way. It's okay, Don, these cunts are with me, said the man, slapping Bodega on the shoulder and draining his pint. 3 more bevies, pal, he said to Don, collecting the drinks and heading back to his table, Bodega and Varu trailing after him like ducklings clinging to their mother. So what's going on, said Rab. Bodega explained the plan and Rab smiled. We're sort of like the anti-polis, he asked. Kinda. We just do shit, adventures and such, make money, help out folks that don't get help from the law, said Bodega, trying to stay on top of the potent brew he was forced to consume at such a rate he assumed Rab was trying to use the alcohol to preserve his body for medical science. I'm in. Now let's get rambling, you pair of mincing ball bags. After just a handful of bloody skirmishes, they returned to the Disco Volante, which was scrawled with graffiti and covered in streaks of human feces. Someone had tried to deep fry one of its wings, but had given up eating it after just a few bites. They climbed aboard, and Bodega breathed a sigh of relief. Varu walked silently past Rab and Bodega and collapsed face first onto the deck of the cargo bay, powering down. He'll be fine, said Rab, swaying slightly. No, let's get the fuck out of here. Bodega had never been so glad to leave a planet in his life. They had done it. They had survived the trip to Tartania, and they now knew never, ever, ever to return. The end.
Oh my god, that was glorious.
That was a good one. The Scottish accent was really good too.
Oh god, it was so good.